Hello and welcome to What's Next Wall Street. I am Georgia Alfredas.
And I am Dave Mathews. Now, this is a show about stocks, crypto, and the new decentralized financial Web3 world around us.
Now, I've got details on all the hot new trending products that everybody's talking about using and also investing in. And today, I am talking about new Apple products, rumored new Apple products, Apple stock, and Apple Bank.
Yep, and I'm going to talk about the couple that tried to launder $3.6 billion, that's with a B, dollars of cryptocurrency, and were caught by the FBI from leads in the cloud.
Yeah, so listen, we've got Greg Krause, lead instructor at OptionsPlayers.com as our expert. So what Greg does is he charts a lot of these companies, and those chart indicators can show where a particular stock is headed so that it's easier for you to target investment potential. So Greg kind of combines technical analysis with fundamental knowledge.
That's right. All of this is our goal to help you become a more informed trader with a tailored trade plan so that you can stay up to speed with what's next on Wall Street and keep stacking your financial gains.
Okay, so here's how you get at us. You can email us at OptionsPlayers.com, or you can hit us up on social media at What's Next Wall Street with your questions. We can also direct you to instructors and experts over at OptionsPlayers.com who dig into the trading fundamentals.
You can watch this episode on the Options Players YouTube channel or listen to the podcast on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Listen, whether you're listening to the podcast or you're watching on YouTube, make sure you subscribe and hit that alert button so that you always know what's next on Wall Street. And don't be stingy with your little stars. Give us 5 stars because we're 5 stars. Oh, that was really cute. We're 5-star.
Well, Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg and Amazon founder Jeff Bezos are losing or making billions of dollars in the span of just a few hours. Zuckerberg's now lost $29 billion in net worth recently when shares of Facebook parent Meta Platforms lost more than $200 billion in valuation. That's again with a B. It's the biggest single-day market value wipeout for a U.S. company ever. This was based upon user growth tanking due to the spread of misinformation campaigns, maybe, on the platform. I don't know. News of body shaming issues children are having with Instagram? Maybe. According to the earnings call, though, the CEO said people have a lot of choices for how they want to spend their time, and apps like TikTok are growing very quickly, in quotes. This came before they lost a class action lawsuit a 4th time and were fined just $90 million.
Just $90 million.
To settle a 2012 charge of violating users' privacy. Now, Facebook allegedly overstepped its bounds in 2010 and 2011 by using tracking cookies that monitored browsing after users signed out, despite promises that the company did not. Marky dropped a promise. Maybe there is deeper meaning if users are tired of the Zuck world or that investors lost confidence with the Metaverse play. Yes to all that, I think, as his dream of team of developers are now working towards a TikTok replacement. Interesting. Jeff Bezos, on the other hand, stands to see his personal net worth jump by $20 billion after Amazon shares shot up following Thursday's quarterly earnings report. Does this mean McKinsey's price of shares on her holdings jumped too?
I thought you were going to say the price of her jumped. That was going somewhere way else.
I was asking for a friend, you know.
Okay. Turns out she's given away $8 billion since the divorce, but since the stock keeps going up and up, she holds a 4% stake. Homegirl is doing just fine with $60 billion in net worth, okay? And Elon was recently reported to have given away $5.7 billion after selling Tesla stock. His tax bill in 2021 was $11 billion, and that number was an amount to help with world hunger from a tweet he was engaging in, and that was October of last year. Now, in music news, Coachella is entering the NFT market. The California Festival recently auctioned 10 NFTs that are going to grant the owners lifetime passes to one weekend of the festival every year. Other benefits for owners of the Coachella Keys Collection NFTs include lifetime luxury camping, special viewing areas of stages, and private dinners. Now, the NFTs can be sold and traded, and the benefits are going to transfer to the new owner. Coachella is going to also sell NFTs as part of its Sights and Sound collection and Desert Reflection collection that owners can redeem for a physical art print. Now, there's even a help guide and how-to section for those new to NFTs. So that's cool.
All right, Georgia, a lifetime pass. Okay, when do you age out of Coachella? I did before even going.
Same.
Too many fanny packs and sweaty bros for me. Now, how about the Super Bowl this year? I didn't watch the game at my car condo party, but I had a nice look at the cars during the game and, of course, the commercials. It was interesting to see the crypto companies that tried to stand out in the field, so to speak. First out of the gate was Coinbase, who had a DVD-style screensaver of a QR code. Wow, that 2005 quick response Japanese technology never had a better year than the last one. Am I right?
Right.
Some 20 million people tried to capture this code that those of you watching are seeing now with their smartphones, which promptly crashed the website. Chief Marketing Officer Katie Rausch said the brand wanted to have a playful, low-production advertisement because traditional multi-million-dollar budget spots didn't feel inspiring to us. Well, having a website crash during the most watched TV event of the year is not inspiring to me. Alas, they got the site up again and won a Super Clio, which is an advertising award. Oh, the irony. With that artwork, just like many NFTs compromised of sloppy artwork that your kid could make being sold for millions in virtual currency, their crappy RGB ad fits with these times.
Can you imagine? They spent nothing on that. Their site crashes and they win an award. Where's our award?
I love it.
Larry David was the quintessential naysayer of all time. Loved this commercial. Who didn't get it when it came to the wheel, the light bulb, and even the indoor toilet. He naturally passed on crypto as well from his own office in an ad for FTX, a crypto exchange that also promises to sell stocks as well. Looks like they may be some competition for Robinhood with beginning trades. Well, actually beginning traders, but it's interesting that they went with a crypto first strategy and want to add traditional investments later. Now the group raised $400 million, which explains how they funded that Super Bowl ad, which runs $6.5 million for 30 seconds of time.
Following up, Crypto.com brought back LeBron James of the current era to meet his past child self and talk about what we've got now, like wireless headphones, streaming music, and electric cars. I'd assume he'd talk about sports betting like Biff and Back to the Future did, but he didn't even have a talk about buying an unregulated digital asset ahead of time like Bitcoin. Man, missed opportunity, bro.
Hello. And also for the same brand, Matt Damon, who sported a sweet mustache at the game. Did y'all see that? Anyway, showed the red planet and reiterated fortune favors the brave in his ad. Now, that commercial is one that we've already seen around the block. Kind of like J.Lo and Ben Affleck. Did you see them? Oh, they were so cute. Anyway, this was definitely a coming out for crypto advertisements, and we just hope it doesn't flame out in a year like those Y2K.com era IPOs who had their companies in the bowl back then.
Yeah, it's probably going to, though. Web3 is going great. .com. So for today's pro tip, backtesting a strategy is one of those tips that is commonly ignored. When most traders get a new strategy, they treat it like a child treats a new toy. I know I do. In other words, they play with the box. Just kidding. They play with it without understanding how it works or what it does. While a new system can be extremely exciting, traders should always paper trade it first. When testing, you must not only see how the system works, but also need how to understand how you as a trader can work the system. Once this is done, your expectations will be much more reasonable and you are less likely to take a major loss. Hope this helps and your experience with a slick new trading system.
This is the part of the show where we get to hear from you. You can always hit us up on social media at What's Next Wall Street. Comment on our YouTube page, or you can email us at WNW@OptionsPlayers.com. So this first question is from Jimmy in Gaithersburg, Maryland. Oh my gosh, I used to live in Gaithersburg. Where did I used to live? In an area called Quince Orchard? Quince Orchard, okay. All right, so anyway, sorry, had to stroll down memory lane. Anyway, he wants to know, what are the major hurdles ahead for crypto that you all see as being potentially damaging or risky? Greg, what do you think? What's risky? What's damaging?
I don't think anything's really changed with the threat to crypto. I still think it's political more than anything, government interference. I think still, like a lot of businesses, that's a huge factor. For right now, you have now India talking about it doesn't want crypto and it's going to take it. Actually, I'm trying to think of what he was, because I don't really follow India's politics, but I think he was like the finance minister or something, like the main guy for that. He said that the country's looking at cryptocurrency as a pyramid scheme. So
Wait, what?
Hey, I'm just saying.
Haven't we been saying that?
Well, yeah, exactly. But when a federal person comes out and starts to do that and saying they're going to do things about it, I mean, you expect regulations to hurt it. And you might say, oh, it's India. But I mean, it's India. That's like, with them in China, it's half the world, So that's not good.
But is it because they want a piece of it? Is it because they want to regulate it? And they wanna...
Well, first off, you have to understand what cryptocurrency is. What is it? I mean, so people go, oh, it's better than the dollar. Well, the dollar is not backed by gold, of course, but it's backed by what?
The war machine.
It's backed by the economies, the United States GDP, right? However you want to look at it, that it's backed by future earnings. Okay, what is crypto backed off of?
Hopes and dreams.
I mean, it is.
and computers.
So in a way, it's great, but it could be shut down by the government at any point in time, and everybody goes, but it's decentralized. No, it's not. The fact is, 90% of y'all out there that are buying stuff on Coinbase think it's decentralized, but you can lose your money immediately because the United States can block Coinbase from doing anything.
And they've done this with certain altcoins as well, right? Bitcoin and ETH are treated as assets, not securities. And we're going to talk in a few minutes here.
I think that's changing. I've brought that up for many years, that it's considered property. So there are no wash sales, things like that, and there's a way to tax harvest. The government doesn't allow that in regular equities, and there's no way that it's going to continue to allow that in crypto. I think just the real thing is, unlike, I know I'm going to beat up on the politicians here, but politicians don't understand basic finances. I'm sorry, they don't. Even the ones with degrees in business, they don't
But they're all
understand
rich, they
economics.
must know something.
They don't understand economics at all. It's basic economics, and they'll say whatever they want to. They have no idea what really goes on. Now you add crypto into it, and just say, yeah, I got master's degrees in finance and MBA in finance. But even I don't understand crypto. Nobody really does, because it's new, and it's based upon human behavior and what really happens.
It's fluid.
Yeah, so that's a little bit hard. So now you have all these politicians that are trying to make laws to govern it, but they don't understand it. And I think
But they're also investing in it.
100%. So how can they continue to do that? And now banks are in it. Everybody's like, oh, well, banks are in it. No, I bet you big institutions own the majority of crypto. Yeah.
Well, when Jamie from JP Morgan Chase, right? He said, no crypto, no crypto, no crypto. And then a year later, we're going in.
Yeah, but my thing is, how much do you already have? But the real thing is, when it gets regulated, that's when it becomes a major issue.
But when you have these big companies investing in it, I mean, these big investment companies into it, I mean, is the government going to shut it down?
Taxes, get in their hands, regulate it. Everything is regulated. And I don't care, unless you're 100% libertarian, like out of this control libertarian, which probably makes you pretty far right, but just say you're a true libertarian. I don't care if you're GOP or Democrat, you like regulations now, right? You want to be able to control everything. Power, that's what politics is. So they're going to want to control that. I think Bitcoin and thing have a future? I do. I think Bitcoin would just be there as a thing to buy to trade off to other, coins. I think NFTs will be the future in a way that we just actually store contracts, like, it's an electric contract. So I don't need this piece of paper at the courthouse. I have an NFT that you gave to me that we minted, that it proves that, hey, this is mine, this is it, it's forever. And when I sell that house, it transfers to someone else. So that gets rid of like title searches and things, because this proves exactly what is mine. I think that will definitely be in there. The art and things, we know that's probably not going to go away. But yeah, government interference is number one. Number two is hackers. That's another, people might not think that that's an issue, but if it's peer-to-peer, decentralized cold storage, not a problem. It's probably impossible to really hack that, right? I mean,
And we're going to talk about that later in the show
but
when we
if
figure
you're
out
talking about hack
unwinding
Coinbase, we already know it's possible
Yeah.
because it's happened.
And government subpoenas, like the Colonial Pipeline
Yeah.
money was gotten from a government subpoena to take those coins out.
So if there's options in it, you could buy and sell it, and once it's regulated, it's going to be able to be manipulated. So where does it go? It goes where the people in power want it to go.
Yeah. So
Just
the
like
answer is
currency.
we don't know right now until the government makes a statement as to the tax issues in this. And look at, you got Ecuador saying that they're going to use crypto as a default currency. And now the people, they were really excited about it when crypto was at 60,000. But now that it's down to what, 22, 30.
up to like 44.
Yeah. Well, when it was
That's-
down,
that's
But it
right
was
now.
down.
when it was
Yeah,
down
yeah,
there,
yeah.
the society wasn't too happy about that then. But anyway, the next question we have is from Linda in Fayetteville, North Carolina, who writes, while I see I should have bought gold when you guys covered it on the show many, many episodes ago, is there still room for it to run and why? Gold.
All right, so gold. So most people here don't actually buy spot gold or physical gold to hold. Most people, retail investors, you're probably buying like EFTs of gold miners and things like that. All right, so gold has gone up a little bit in, say, the past year. I don't want to really get off. I don't think it's been like in a major bump, maybe like 5% or so. But fuel prices have also gone up. Okay, so the cost to get that gold has gone up. So if you actually start looking at the profit that those gold miners have made, you have to watch that. So you buy physical gold or are you buying miners? You have to understand what you're buying, okay? Because with higher gas prices, inflation on equipment, you know, if it costs you $900 to get that ounce, but it used to cost you, say, $700 or whatnot, I'm just saying those numbers.
So the margins of the miners, there are people
so
actually
there
extracting
could-
the gold.
Yeah,
are
so
gonna
it
be
could
hit.
cost a little bit more money than what the actual gold was to actually get it. So those miners are actually making less. But now if you were holding on to the physical gold, you made money. But if you're holding on to that, you might have made less money. And that's intrinsic value. The stock could have went up or down depending on human behavior. But yeah, inflation is right now rocking at 7.5%. The last word that came out. The government has a few plans in the work. The last one they talked about was removing the fuel tax. So yeah, for the Biden administration, his current plan to battle not his current plan, a possible plan that he is thinking about to battle inflation is to remove the tax on fossil fuels. So I mean, sounds like you're going green there, buddy. So I mean, that's.
Yeah, that's contradictory to what
Yeah,
should be done.
so-
And off-road vehicles don't pay the same tax. I'm sure the barrels are taxed, but the refined gas price that goes into
So dyed diesel, so farm fuel, or off. We call it like non-highway tax or stuff.
And
So
what that does is take away money from the roads, which those implements are not driving on roads anyway. So it's kind of a wash.
Do you really want to get rid of it? I think, and I'm all for cheaper gas. I have 2 cars that get awful gas mileage. Definitely not getting 20 in either one of them. So I'm happy if it goes down personally, but I mean, I'm not a tree hugger in any way, shape, or form.
Why are you looking at me?
I'm not looking at you. You hug trees?
He was definitely looking at
All
it.
right, so that's not really me. We live in Texas and Louisiana. So, the oil is part of our economy. We want it to stay strong. But I want to go towards, more EV cars and things like that.
Absolutely.
Even if it is, a hybrid scenario.
Even if we're scraping the earth of all of her natural
Well,
elements
see,
and the
that's the
lithium
thing is
and the rare
doing
earth
it
metals.
anyway.
But okay, so what is one of the, and this is the thing, is we look at, we're using lithium now because it's available. There is so much more out there.
Until
Now,
there's
I know
not.
I have a finance degree and I know I have all this. People just think I know numbers, but you have to think I do a lot of work on trying to find, is it financially feasible to do certain things? The number one thing, what's the number one storer of energy? A good storer of energy is sand. People don't understand that.
Thermally.
Yeah, so sand alone can store energy. So you talk about solar panel storage systems and things like that. Sand can actually store that energy for you. And we have a lot of sand.
Well, the
Okay.
silicon wafers and solar panels are actually made from
Yeah.
sand, so that, but it's electrical
But
versus
it's actually
heat potential.
being done overseas, but the cost efficiency is not there right now. But, and yeah, like you said, what everybody's like, oh, it's great, but we just have to mine the little crap out of the earth and steal all the other rare metals. I don't know. You know what we can do? We can go to Mars, strip that planet.
Let's try it.
I don't know. What is it
Elon's
going
going to
be?
take us there.
Well, Elon
I'm sure.
said just a few days ago that in our lifetime, we will be able to, we'll see his rockets going to Mars and coming back.
Yeah,
So,
I hope so, but I don't think the generating of power is the issue. We have the perfect solution for that. It's called nuclear.
Yep.
Okay.
say la vie,
Regardless,
France
yeah.
pulled it out.
So, regardless if you think that's dangerous or whatnot, it's the least pollution there is possible. And yes, my first degree was in ethics, by the way. It is
You
pretty
didn't like
much
your teacher?
No,
I'm just
I like
kidding.
my teacher. It was one of my favorite teachers. But out of everything there, it's very much almost no pollution whatsoever. I mean, yeah, you have your
It's just
pollution,
when
but it's very
Homer
small.
Simpson is operating the reactor. That's when things
But
go
I mean,
astray.
and you're talking about that. I mean, SpaceX can get rid of 1,000 years worth of radioactive materials on a spaceship in like one day. You know what I'm saying? That's how efficient it is.
But Bill Gates was building a reactor that took the spent nuclear waste and reburned it a second time just to show it
Yeah.
who was boss.
They've actually done that like multiple times until it's no longer efficient. But then it's the storage of the power, right? So how do you store that power in the car? How do you, limit that going out? And that's where the batteries things come in like that. So how do you store that? I think that is the big issue. I think a lot of Europe and things like that be way ahead of it. They already are with trains and things like that. And everybody's like, well, why do the United States have trains? First off, the United States is like bigger than Europe, okay? So just get rid of that thing because yes, we can go to Dallas in a train, but you can't go to my house in a train. It would just, we've had so many
Too much
train tracks.
infrastructure.
Yeah, I mean, so that's never going to happen. But the storage of it is, we got to find something new. Lithium is not going to be it. It's just not enough of it, right? So,
Can I blow your minds real quick?
Yeah,
So
please
think
do.
about trains used to run on what? Coal, which made steam, which drove them, right? Nuclear reactors, what do they burn? They burn nuclear fuel to
Create
create
steam.
to power things. So maybe like the Mr. Fusion on the DeLorean was kind of the right attitude, but there wasn't steam in the DeLorean. But anyway, we're going back to steam, baby.
Okay.
Yeah, but I don't know. I mean, in cars, I think Toyota had an interesting thing where they were using, all the
Hydrogen.
hydrogen and things like that. So I remember when I was in high school, we made a car that ran off of oxygen, right? This was in 1990s, okay? And it was, it got like 35 miles an hour. It was like the fastest car ever. But I mean, it's like
Not
they
bad.
ran off of oxygen. But you're telling me that we can't do that? And what does hydrogen let off? Probably lets off, I don't know,
Oxygen.
oxygen, right? So
it debonds an oxygen.
holy
ion.
crap, that's great for us, right? So, I mean, but how hard is it to make hydrogen? It's probably a little bit harder to, yeah. So,
All right, we just went down the
knows?
rabbit hole there.
I know, right? Like, this is why I flunked chemistry. I'm like, okay, so how's the weather?
Hey, if you've got a question, even you, Georgia,
Yes.
we can answer it or we'll find someone else who can. So hit us up on the social medias at What's Next Wall Street or in the comments section on our YouTube page, or you can email us at WNW@OptionsPlayers.com with your questions. All right, this is going to be a great one. It's all about hacking, like we teased at the beginning of the show. So that is the largest problem that investors of any security have to deal with. This could be from your traditional banking account, which you should have set up to send you a text message when you log in, or your crypto wallet. So adding what we call a second factor of authentication or an authenticator application is the best way to protect your assets. But in today's segment, I want to dig into the story of how Ilya Lichtenstein and Heather Morgan from New York, a couple who somehow obtained nearly 120,000 Bitcoins. They were stolen or hacked from the cryptocurrency exchange Bitfinex in 2016, how these two were caught. I say obtained because I don't think they were smart enough to take them from the site. Add to that the federal investigators charged them for money laundering of the $3.6 billion worth of coins from the $4.5 total billion of coins that were stolen from this exchange.
Jeez.
Now, this gives us some insight that they weren't the hackers because of money laundering. Now, Ilya went through a complicated process of tumbling his Bitcoin and converting some of the coins to Monero, which is supposed to be a difficult to track cryptocurrency as it blends trades within other transactions in order to mask them. But ultimately, a spreadsheet with his 2,000 different Bitcoin wallet accounts, throwaway email addresses, and even notes on which banks were shady Russian banks were found on a spreadsheet in his cloud server, which
Who does that? Who
probably
makes
was
a
Google Drive.
Spreadsheet of this. Here are my crimes, and I put them in a spreadsheet. Like what?
Oh, within the Google Drive, which I assume, the feds found keys for the wallets along with logins for numerous cryptocurrency exchanges he had used. Which brings me to the I told you so moment of the show. When you store items on your own computer, they require physical access to retrieve, just like Greg said at the beginning of the show. When you encrypt your data on your drive or use cold offline USB storage that is encrypted, like we showed you how to crack on a prior show with a hack of the Trezor wallet, it makes the data extremely difficult to access. Now, back in a different prior show, I mentioned the FBI being able to access so-called secure messaging systems like WhatsApp and even iMessage, but that vulnerability lied within the keys stored in the cloud, not exactly within the messaging apps. See where we're going here with this theme?
Gosh. Wow.
So our U.S. federal government can request access to the servers run by U.S. entities, which is how the Colonial Pipeline hackers lost a large percentage of their bounty. It was through confiscated online wallets on servers in America. Now, the same can be said for Ilya. Oh, even when he used an online wallet in Lithuania at the provider Alpha Bay, the FBI, DEA, and even the Thai police arrested the administrator of that site, seized its servers and the whole data center. Now, that isn't mentioned in the IRS statement of facts, but their knowledge from server logs, where funds originated from and where they went to, could enable them to track the path that they took much more easily than the Blockchain Explorer, which lets anyone peer into how trades occur. This actually is the active real-time trades that are happening right now.
Wow.
Real-time image taking place on the blockchain as we do the show right now. So look, if you want to do shady things and use crypto to pay for illicit items, services that are illegal, etc., you just can't. There's a path to find sources and destinations of these digital transactions. It's the blockchain. That's what it was built as, a publicly validated ledger. Bad guys, you need to stick with cash, diamonds, gold, maybe even art, real art, not that NFT crap. Why do you think we don't have bills greater than $500 in circulation these days? It's because of the criminals that we can't have nice things.
Oh, okay.
Oh, you know, my favorite bits of this laundering are the abandoned wallets that were frozen because either Ilya or Heather didn't fill out proper Know Your Consumer, as known as KYC in the industry, forms. They left hundreds of thousands worth of Bitcoins in these frozen accounts that the government, again, snatched up.
Of course.
What they couldn't snatch up, though, were the $500 gift cards for Walmart that were purchased from third-party sites with Bitcoin. So when you unpack this entire saga, it was really the spreadsheets in the cloud with lists of his 2,000 wallets that allowed federal agents to easily unwind the money laundering attempts from this couple. And now they're going to jail. I just wonder how much they paid for these stolen coins in the first place. Seems like they didn't get the return that they expected, however. Now, the next part of this story will be on how the U.S. government responds potentially by returning the lost coins to the exchange Bitfinex, who did make restitution with their customers back at the time of the breach. Now, that's when Bitcoin was worth much less than it is today. More on this when we learn about it, or if the hacker is found as part of a plea deal that the couple could use to drop some of their deal time from their existing assumed 20-year sentence.
Wow. Lesson I learned in this is don't leave breadcrumbs, dummies. Everybody leaves breadcrumbs. It's stupid. So Apple's latest operating system lets your phone become a credit card terminal. Now, the company is turning iPhones into point-of-sale terminals that don't require any additional hardware. Apple says Stripe is going to be the first payment operator to offer the new service. It's also going to be integrated into Shopify's point-of-sale product. Now, this feature is going to be accessed through third-party apps, which are set to release later this year. Now, this may not pressure, or actually may put pressure on the stock for Square, or as Jack renamed it, Block, who sells clever devices for reading cards. So I like this because I'm always looking out for the little guy, right? So Apple's also boosting benefits for its retail workers. Now, the company is doubling back. They're doubling their sick days to full and part-time employees to help attract and retain workers. The move follows complaints about employees losing pay because of pandemic-related state and local policies. Now, the new benefits also include parental leave and emergency childcare services. Meanwhile, Apple's first media event of this year is reportedly happening next month with plans to unveil an updated version of the iPhone SE with 5G and a new iPad Air in early March. So there's also a rumor that at least one new Mac with Apple designed chips could be introduced then, as well as maybe even a Mac Mini. So I have so many questions here, Greg. So number one, is Apple going to become its own bank? Number two, obviously Apple is a good investment, but should I be investing in Stripe, Shopify, and maybe some of these like third-party apps like Affirm and PayPal? What happens to Square when they aren't selling hardware anymore? So
Go.
like, answer all of those.
Go. All right, so we'll start with number 2, Stripe.
Okay.
Man, is Stripe IPO'd yet? I'm sorry, I don't know if they IPO'd yet.
They were bought by,
Yes.
they IPO'd and they acquired some other banks, so there
Yeah.
were transactions taking place.
So I'll have to see
Teleprompter
what
guy,
really
get on
look
that.
at that is. Because I know Stripe was going to IPO in late 2022, but they were also, everybody was trying to buy them up, all their competitors. Even I thought maybe like Shopify or even PayPal would try to yank them up, because at one point, Stripe and PayPal were, API was like almost identical. So I would have to really know that. So I can't tell you whether to do that. Do I think Stripe, we know PayPal's been going down and its stock price is going down pretty bad for the last couple months.
But
here.
every kid I know uses Venmo. So
Well,
like,
that's the thing is, so me and you, we think PayPal, right?
yeah.
Well,
I think Venmo just because all the teachers, all
yeah.
the kids.
So
it's how I'm nosy with my kids to find out what they're doing.
We grew up, we're the generation
Yes.
of eBay.
Yes.
eBay is PayPal.
Yes.
When you sign up and you're sitting there like, oh, I can pay with PayPal
Yes.
and get my McDonald's app or whatever, right? Or Apple Pay.
Right.
So, and then with Stripe and things like that, it's kind of the same. But then the newer generation, they like that Cash App, Venmo, where they can
Yes.
just sling it.
And Cash App is from Square or Block.
Yeah. So that's kind of where we're going. It's kind of the TikTok of cash payments.
That's right.
It's really quick. I can send it to that person. It's done. I don't have to go through all this
Right.
PayPal stuff. But also with the new tax laws and things, they're going to be looking at those Cash Apps and Venmos when you've been getting all this money from your friends for coffee and
Come
you get
on.
audited. I'm just saying.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
like
I'm
I see that all the
serious.
time. I look through my kid to see what was this for, and I'm like, hey, what'd you pay such and such for? What was that for? And what did they pay you for?
Oh my
So I
gosh.
Now,
yes.
Do I
I'm
think
total
the IRS
private
is
eye.
going to care about a bunch of payments
It's
to
like pizza.
coffee,
It's
right?
like yeah. So
But the problem is go check out your Cash App thing, and where someone sent you Cash App, did they write in there a cup of coffee and then put did they? They probably didn't. They just said, here you go. Right?
Ah.
And they slung it to you. But now let's just say it's a little bit different. And, like I just bought you, I don't know, a hoverboard that costs I just made that up, but like $2,000. And I send you $2,000. And then we're going to like overseas, going to Ibiza, and we're at the club and VIP, and we just dropped $5,000 here. And I say, okay, I'll pay half of it, and I send you $2,500. And then when you get back, you're like, oh, this was from when I was at the club. I paid half of it. Well, the IRS isn't going to go, oh, that's what it was. They're going to be like, where's the receipt?
Yep.
what?
And what you don't realize too with a lot of these
What do you
apps,
think? They don't trust you.
They better not be looking at my Venmo, my
but
PayPal.
there's a public feed of this. So Georgia, when I launched Venmo, I see TJ
Yes.
giving what you take investment money from your son to put
Yes, I did.
for a savings, right? That's
Yes.
brilliant. But that's public on the ledger, so
Yeah.
everyone
And
can
the
see
kids
this
actually
stuff.
like that. They like that they can see, you can put your little, there's like a little picture of a pizza. So that's why they
Yeah.
like
And
Venmo.
first off, I don't think the IRS is going to be going after little bitty people like that. Just that cost to go after someone that's probably already getting a refund, not actually paying in the taxes, first off. But, even I have businesses that deal with Venmo and Cash, and it's a pain. Like, I'm going to be honest, because Cash App doesn't really like API to go into my spreadsheets to actually track my inventory and then what is sold and then all the variables.
So what do you like better? What would you?
Shopify would be a great one because they
For
have
something
the
like
APIs.
that, like PayPal, Stripe, that I can API in and actually track, hey, I just sold this. So it goes in and finds the first one that I bought because it's first in, last up. So all that's fine. I think we will get to that, but so I think PayPal and them, they have more competitors. So I think Stripe, I think PayPal will likely come up with their versions of Cash App.
Yep.
Okay.
And Stripe is the most anticipated IPO of 2022. So we're going to cover that, it seems, on a future show.
Yeah. And then will Apple become a bank? That is your first question. I hope not. All right. Is Apple in banking? 100%. You have Apple Pay, right? Everybody here's got some money. I don't got a lot of money on my Apple Pay thing, but every now and then the teleprompter guy sends me money somehow. And I got it like,
And
teleprompter guy sent me $50.
iMessage built in.
Yes.
So it's there, but it's not, Apple's not the bank. Okay.
Chargebacks and all the things that go around.
Goldman Sachs is their bank, and then
or the Apple card. The Apple credit card.
Yeah. So the main reason why I don't hope they don't. Banks, everybody goes, banks make a lot of money. Employees at banks make a lot of money. The bank themselves is not making a lot of money. It's low margin, very low margins in banks. Okay. So if Apple if they start their own bank, you're taking the company that is just amazing margins in the 20s that's making, what's their last one they made? Probably like 60, 70 billion in profit. And now you're going to drop those margins down. It's not worth it. Let someone else do it because there's a lot of regulations and you can get caught up and you can lose everything, right? So, and then you're making yourself even bigger. So Apple already has a problem with all the haters in the world, like they're successful. So you're going to have the haters. You're like, oh, they're too big. They're worth too much money. Let's, break them up. And then you're going to add a bank. You think that's going to help? Absolutely not. Because now you're a big company and you're a bank.
Apple's best at taking money from us, not lending monny to us.
Yeah. So let someone else handle that. And then what I think they're still in the financial services. So you go through Apple Pay, Apple Card, through your phone. So be that middleman, right? Be Visa. Mm-hmm. Give them a little bit, take a little small, and let that other person handle it. Okay. Right. So it's basically higher margins because all I am doing is I got a little piece of software here that allows you to use your credit card. I take 1 or 2%, and then the bank does the rest.
So what this means, though, is if I'm a vendor at a flea market or if I have a little coffee shop, I can now use my own iPhone for tap and pay, right? So Square would sell the dip readers or the magstripe readers. Their first one was brilliant. It used the microphone jack to stream the data into the phone, which I thought was the coolest idea ever because they could give away the reader for free. But then as they got the chip and pin, you had to have a Bluetooth device to read the data. So now if I'm a store owner and I have a little Shopify account and maybe it's a pop-up market that I have for Christmas, George's question was, should we invest in those providers that they mentioned in the press release? Because it's going to be easier for their merchants to take credit cards.
Like Shopify and things like that. I think Shopify and everybody's pretty much priced.
They're heady.
Right?
They're heady now.
Yeah,
right?
they're
the pandemic,
so now's
direct
not
to
the
consumer.
They've already up, right? So it's kind of hard there. So I look for the new thing. What I mean is Shopify, however you like, Shopify's got a little issues there anyways, but you have newer things. So we have TikTok. So what's TikTok? Videos. So if we look at Shopify, let's say Shopify is Facebook, right? And then the new is live. So you got like Facebook Live, TikTok. Well, now you have new companies coming out that will go against it, kind of like auctions or sales. So you have a large one in the collectors. I collect vintage cards, millions of dollars worth of Pokemon cards and stuff. But
unbelievable.
I'm going to break into your house.
So you have companies like Whatnot, right? That it's kind of like live. So it's like TikTok. People are on there auctioning off their stuff live.
With a commerce engine.
Yes.
Oh, that's cool. So
exactly.
It gets back to like, what was the old cheesy stuff on TV? Those cheesy networks used to sell crap.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, they're still on.
Well, QVC's
they're still on.
So.
So but yeah, so it's kind of, I'm not 100% sure exactly what that one is, but say we use Whatnot. As an example, it's like you put your inventory in there and you assign it, and then it rotates. Say, hey, this is what's for sale now, and people auction on it, they bid on it, or whenever that one sells, they sell it, and then it goes to you. So I think that a form of that evolution is one that's going to be next. Who comes up with that? And that's coming from we're just lazy, and we become more lazy.
Yeah.
Craigslist is dominating this market, right? So Facebook Marketplace absolutely sucks because the search is terrible. You ask.
I've never even used it.
Like I look for a Porsche thing and it starts showing me Buicks.
Well,
I'm like, come on, guys.
Craigslist, like say you're looking. I used to just hunt for Jeeps, right? And then 99% of the Jeeps are fake. And then Facebook Marketplace, the auto one, I was actually fun. But now they're all dealers, acting like they're,
individuals.
So they're already jacked up. So.
And my giveaway for that is if they say they're an individual, but you look at the pictures and you can see the sign of the dealer lot behind them. I'm like, I'm not calling you, buddy.
Okay, but back to tapping these phones. Don't y'all think that's going to create a major security problem?
No, because these phones, every transaction, they generate a new credit card number for every transaction. And that's the brilliance that Apple's done for this, right? So the phone receives data over the near field link and then generates a new token based upon that to send to the cloud.
It's going to be encrypted on the front end and the back end, and they're not going to just do that. There's going to be a time to that also, because they learned way back in the day when I was young and hacking that ATMs, their downfall was they didn't have a time. So basically, when it left, you gave me as much time as possible to find out what that code was, adjust it, and have it send it back.
And that's through attacks like skimming, where there'd be another magnetic reader in front of the one that the machine had.
Like at gas stations.
And gas stations had skimmers too, but with the iOS phones and with the tap and pay on these modern devices, it's a new code every time that can't be replayed, which is the Achilles heel to old technology.
So what I'm getting from this is when my husband leaves his phone on the kitchen table, I'm not just going to be able to come tap it and get what I need?
No. You take your credit card and tap the phone. They don't have phone-to-phone payment yet. That's iMessage.
All right.
Hey, man, we just went down an amazing rabbit hole there.
I know, that was fun.
We want to thank lead instructor at Options Players, Greg Krause, for being with us here in the studio today.
Yes, remember, if you've got questions, we're going to answer them. We're going to give you so many answers for them that you're going to be like, all right, I get it already. And listen, we want to hear from you. We'd love to hear from you. So email us at www.optionsplayers.com or hit us up on social media at What's Next Wall Street.
You can, of course, watch episodes of What's Next Wall Street and see Greg's beautiful blue eyes on the Options Players YouTube page. That's what somebody said in comments last time. Or listen on Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts. Even if you've watched on YouTube, go back and listen to the podcast while you're in the car, in the train, on a plane, in Dr. Seuss, on a house with a mouse. There's some really good, useful info in there.
Nobody say anything about your blue eyes?
You do. You call me the blue-eyed devil.
Yeah, that is true. So that's right, Dave. Anyway, it's not all fun and games. I mean, we do have fun and we do play games. However, we really do try to get you some good, solid info that you can use every day of your life. So listen, please subscribe. I am George Alfredas.
And I'm the blue-eyed devil, Dave Mathews. We'll see you next time on What's Next Wall Street.